In case you didn't know, there are 3 different ways to auto-attack enemies in League of Legends. You got move click, which is a standard way to move, but there's also attack move and attack move click. Each option has different pros and cons, which I'll explain throughout the video. But what I think is most interesting is that even among pros, there doesn't seem to be a clear consensus on which is the best option. Hey everyone, my name is Xpecial, and I've been involved with professional League of Legends as a player and coach for over a decade. In today's video, I want to go over these 3 options, how they can help with things like kiting, what the pros are using, and why some of the best pros seem to be using the less efficient option. But before we get into that, let me remind you that if you're trying to improve at League of Legends and you'd like some help, that my team of challengers, LCS coaches, and I help people like you gain 400 LP in just 6 weeks guaranteed inside the Masters Roadmap program. You'll be getting over 30 hours of personalized coaching with hands-on drills, scrims, and one-on-ones to make sure you learn everything you need to hit Masters Plus. So if you're serious about putting in the work to see results, message me the word attack on Discord using the link in the description below to book a free call with me to see if we'd be a good fit. Hurry, because we have less than 5 spots left. First things first, let me quickly catch you up on what exactly each of these options do so you can get a better idea of which you might want to use in your own games. Starting off with move click. This is the default way of moving in League. Right click to move around the map and right click to do things like attacking any champions, minions, towers, or even just purchasing an item from the shop. It's the first thing you learn in the tutorial. Now a lot of you might already know this, but there's also a second option, attack move. This is what many pros use, which you can notice when you see that white circle around the character as they're kiting. To perform an attack move, you must first press a key, A by default, and then you left click on the map. This has 2 helpful things. First, it shows you your champion range, like we just talked about. And second, it attacks the nearest targetable enemy to you. Then there's a third option, attack move click. Attack move click compared to attack move works slightly differently, as it only has you making 1 click to do essentially the same thing as attack move. If you're familiar with normal cast versus quick cast, it's the exact same thing. Normal cast lets you see the ability range, while quick cast fires immediately. With attack move click, you lose the range indicator, but you still attack the closest enemy, including minions, towers, and wards. Maybe you already see the problems there, but that was historically always the most problematic part of any version of attack move. It's easily outplayed by someone placing down a ward closer to you than their champion is, causing you to stop and attack the ward as they catch up to you. Here's an example of that happening. Luckily though, this problem has since been fixed with the introduction of the setting, attack move to cursor. This is how it changes attack move. Do you see how, instead of targeting the closest dummy to my champion, I'm instead targeting the closest enemy to my cursor? That is the setting that saved attack move. Otherwise, it simply would not be as popular as it is today. The benefits of either version of attack moving are easy to see. It takes a lot of chance out of the game. You can easily be less precise than with regular move click. Kiting becomes much easier, and it makes fights a lot less reliant on ping. What's interesting though is that we still see a lot of pro players using the older and slower version of attack move. That's confusing because we've seen pro players change their playstyle towards a more efficient and faster setting before, like with the release of quick cast. Ever since that came out, normal cast has become extremely niche because it's simply not as fast as a single click option. So what's going on? There has to be a reason that pro players remain with attack move. Could we be missing something? And most importantly, should you, as either a new or experienced player, advance to the newer attack move click or stick to what you're currently using? An important part of answering that question lies in the history of the game. When League of Legends first came out, there was only basic move click, and attack move without the attack closest to cursor option. This again only had one function, attacking the closest target to your character. At its release, attack move was therefore used infrequently, mostly when kiting back, since it was only truly effective when there was no minions around you, and like we talked about earlier, when the enemy didn't place a ward to outplay you. That play was before target closest to cursor was even a thing. So these days, when you see pro view, you may be able to catch the cursor slightly off who they intend to target. It means they've adapted to that new setting. So why haven't they chosen to adapt to attack move click? Well, there are some benefits in having the indicator. Using a slower attack move variant allows for a much clearer visualization of your attack range. We know that pros really value being able to hit the enemy at maximum range. After all, that is the point of kiting. The best scenario for any ranged champion is to keep the enemy at your maximum auto attack range. Clearly, a visual of your range would be helpful then, but does it make sense to sacrifice speed for a simple visual indicator? It's the same argument as normal cast versus quick cast. Pro players now near universally use quick cast, because unsurprisingly, it is faster than a near obsolete normal cast. So where's the shift to the newer option? I believe that, in this case, pro players may just be a bit slow to change after years of habit, but maybe they're missing out. That's because League of Legends has drastically changed over the years. Back in the day, runes and items were strictly stat bonuses. Nowadays, we have crazy items that have additional effects like Zhonya's and Proto Belt. As the game got quicker, with cooldowns going down more and more and attack speed continuously climbing, playing at the peak requires more actions per minute, APM, than ever before. So while in the past, it was extremely helpful to constantly bring up a range to be meticulous with each auto attack, I'm not so sure if that is still the case today. That's because nowadays, popular marksmen like Ezreal, Varus, Kai'Sa, etc. require a lot of inputs quickly to reach their true potential. Being fluid with your combos has become necessary, and having the faster attack move click option can really help. Of course, it's easy to say that these pro players only continue to use basic attack move purely out of stubborn habits, but that's not everything there is to say. I can understand that some pros really appreciate seeing their attack range pop up every time they auto, especially since their mechanics are good enough to offset the slowdown, and they've gotten used to it over years and years of playing. But here's the truth, I'm not Ruler, you are Gumayusi, so when we are asked to keep up with insane attack speeds and ability combos, I think it's time to consider the quicker, one-click solution we have available. That becomes especially true when we consider that there is a bit of a precedent for pros sticking to their settings even if they aren't exactly optimal. I remember back in the early seasons, mostly from season 2 to 5, a lot of Korean pros back then mostly played in window mode. Yes, they actively chose to play on a much smaller window, like 1024 by 768. At the time, many players, including other pros, experimented with this. I was one of those who tried it, and I will tell you, I switched back very quickly. Back then, many people tried to justify a superiority, since it allowed players to focus more on the immediate areas of the game in front of them, or that the minimap was easier to see due to its proximity to the center. But over time, players stopped to the point that it is incredibly difficult to find a single pro player using window mode today. Now, in case you're not already convinced that attack move click is the way forward, because maybe you really like the range indicator, there's actually one more bind I need to show you. If you go into the hotkeys and go all the way down to menus, there's this neat little bind that's called Show Advanced Player Stats. Holding down this bind then means you can see some more of your player stats, but it also shows the exact same range we're familiar with from regular attack move. This means that even if you're a hardcore attack mover because you want the range visible at all times, attack move click is still the better option because combining it with show advanced player stats is essentially combining the best of both worlds, more speed while still seeing your range. So if you're lucky enough to be new and not stuck in bizarre or inefficient habits, or you're willing to break some bad habits to try to improve in the long run, then I strongly urge you to choose to learn the more consistent attack move click option over the OG attack move. The addition of target closest to cursor was a patch on a flawed option that required 2 inputs. You have the ability to learn the new version with a single input. One click quicker might not seem all that important, but remember, the better you get at League of Legends, the more consistency you need. Consistency helps to bring your win rate up. And surprise, surprise, winning is what helps you reach the rank you want to get to. If you gain and lost 20 LP each game, it would take 100 games at a 55% win rate to gain 2 ranks or 200 LP. By increasing your win rate by just 5% to 60%, you only need 50 games, having the grind. But wait, there is a catch. At this point, you might be wondering, why don't I just unbind my move click if attack move click is so amazing? But no, that wouldn't work. Naturally, move click should still be the main clicking you do in a game. You wouldn't be able to move otherwise. But there's actually another reason why regular move click is so useful: tower diving. Attack move and especially attack move click are ideal for auto attacking basically always, but they do have a small fault in that they don't work in tandem with a target champion's only setting. That means if you're using attack move click to target a champion hiding under tower, you might still end up accidentally misclicking the tower, causing you to die. Whether that means you want to use move click in combination with target champions only when targeting champions playing under tower, or you want to try to be a bit more precise, is up to you. But I at least want to give you a heads up. Finally, there's one more auto attack setting I need you to look at. Though I want it to be clear, this one comes with its own pros and cons. That is the auto attack setting. This setting makes it so that when standing still, your champion will auto attack anything in his range. Generally speaking, I recommend that you turn this setting off, but there's one specific situation where it's useful. That situation is when you're a ranged champion in a brush and you want to know if the brush is warded or not. If the brush is warded, an enemy team has vision of you, your champion will automatically auto attack. But if the enemy does not have vision of you, your champion will simply stay still. I think that's a good little tip to know. Though to be honest, unless you're explicitly trying to utilize this vision trick, the cons of auto attack vastly outweigh the pros. For example, if you're snare rooted, your champion will automatically auto attack. This can be extremely detrimental if you're trying to tower dive, as that automatic auto attack may land on an enemy champion, resulting in turret aggro. That's all you need to know for now. Thanks for watching.